The Random Jottings of Donald J. from Nelson in Pendle. Grey Lardy. In the quaint village of Croston, nestled amidst the rolling English countryside, there existed a legend whispered in hushed tones around crackling fires and over pints of ale. The locals spoke of the Grey Lardy, a spectral apparition that seemed to wander the narrow lanes, an enigma woven into the very fabric of the village. No one knew her origin or her story. She was but a fleeting glimpse, a spectral figure draped in an ethereal shroud of mist and shadow. Her presence was felt along the winding Southport Road and the quiet Highfield Road, leaving those who crossed her path with a chill down their spines and a question in their hearts. One misty autumn evening, as the amber leaves danced in the fading light, young Thomas, a curious lad with an adventurous spirit, found himself drawn to the mystery of the Grey Lardy. Armed with nothing but an old lantern and the tales of his forebears, he set out along Southport Road, his footsteps crunching on the fallen leaves. As the night deepened, and the moon cast its silver glow upon the land, Thomas beheld a sight that would forever be etched into his memory. There, in the heart of the village hedge, stood the figure of the Grey Lardy. Her form was translucent, a wisp of melancholy in the night. Her eyes, though vacant, held a silent sorrow that tugged at Thomas's heart. She seemed to be waiting, longing for something lost to time. The air grew colder around him, and yet, he felt an inexplicable warmth emanating from the spectre. Without uttering a word, the Grey Lady turned and glided away, leaving Thomas with a sense of both awe and trepidation. He knew then that this was no ordinary ghost. Her story, a tapestry woven with threads of longing and mystery, beckoned him. Days turned to weeks, and Thomas's fascination with the Grey Lady only grew. He sought her out along Highfield Road, finding her seated on a weathered bench, gazing into the distance. She appeared more tangible here, as though the veil between their worlds was thinner. As the seasons changed, so did Thomas's determination to unravel the enigma that was the Grey Lardy. He delved into the village archives, seeking any trace of her existence. Old letters, faded photographs, and cryptic entries in yellow journals spoke of a woman lost in time, a love unfulfilled, and a tragedy that had left her wandering the mortal realm. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Thomas returned to Highfield Road one fateful evening. The air was thick with anticipation, a sense that destiny hung in the balance. As he approached the bench, the Grey Lady turned her gaze toward him, and for the first time, there was a glimmer of recognition in her eyes. With trembling hands, Thomas extended an old locket he had discovered in his research. The pendant held a miniature portrait of a dashing young man. His eyes filled with the same longing that now haunted the Grey Lady's gaze. A tear, crystalline and filled with emotion, slipped down her translucent cheek. In that moment, Thomas understood. The locket was a key, a bridge between worlds. The Grey Lady's story yearned to be told, her heartache acknowledged. As the first light of dawn painted the horizon, the Grey Lady's form began to fade, but her spirit seemed lighter, unburdened. With a final, grateful glance, she dissolved into the mist, leaving Thomas with a sense of fulfillment and a tale to be passed down through the ages. The legend of the Grey Lady would live on, not as a haunting spectre, but as a soul whose story had found its ending, thanks to a curious young man who dared to uncover the mysteries of the past. By Donald J.